All right, this is a good place to stop, man. I can be Deuce got hits on hits on hits, man. But we got to get into this thing, man. So shout out to the pre-show vibes. My boy Drum Deucer, look him up. He mix, produce, he plays, he does a lot of things, man. So y'all pull up on him, man. Show him some love on IG, and tell him y'all heard him about him here on the podcast. All right, man. We gonna get into this episode 68. Give me some more claps. I got to get some better drops up in here, man. Besides that, just applause. I got to get some better stuff up in here. We're going to get it cooking. But in the midst of that, man, episode 68, man, shout out to the loyalty crew. Y'all know I love y'all, man. Ain't nothing but love in my heart for the loyalty crew. And we're going to get to it. Y'all know I'm going to intro the pod in a second, man. But before we get into all that, I can't wait to talk to y'all. Yo, I was on a red carpet. Well, it was a private premiere. I got to meet one of Hollywood's biggest stars, upcoming stars right now. Matter of fact, brother is like in 2-3 movies at a time. That's how hot he cooking. So, and it includes Michael B. Jordan. So y'all want to make sure y'all stick around to hear about my experience with that. Now, you may hear me, I'm still getting over whatever this crap is that I had. I didn't have COVID, but, man, whatever these colds and flu symptoms, man, it's super strong. They got the super strong version out here, man. So, yeah, all right, man, y'all chill out. It ain't that funny. But anywho, man, yeah, we're going to get this pod started. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited. We're getting into the end of the year. We're in the last month of the year, guys. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm pretty excited about things that are happening. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, too. But let's go ahead and let's get this podcast started. I don't know how much voice I got, but we're going to make it pop. Y'all know how we do. Go ahead. Turn your speakers up. Turn your radio up. Y'all know I like y'all when y'all sing along, man, because I like my jingle. Don't act like my jingle ain't popping, man. So y'all ready? Y'all ready? Sing with your boy. It's not a hard song to learn. It's a great intro. Here we go. It's the world according to love. Come on, man. Hype up, man. What you doing? You already know it's gonna be a good show. Hey. And let's go. So let's sit and grow. It's gonna be a good show. Episode 68 is here. And we are excited, man. I'm so excited. We out here working, and I just want y'all to know.
Y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
Hey, man, we on our way to 100, man. Some of y'all were playing with your boy. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all thought it was going to be finito. Y'all thought y'all was going to hear. No, we still here, man. So anyway, man, matter of fact, there go my air horn. Shout out for episode 68, man. And, yeah, y'all can tell I'm feeling better. Good for real, right? But anyway, man, thank you for listening to The World According to Lo. If you do not know who I am, my name is Aloysius Ballard. Everybody calls me Lo for short. I am a award-winning videographer, filmmaker, producer, creative director, man. I wear a lot of hats. And because of that, it allows me to go into a lot of different spaces within the creative and production world. So because of that, I meet amazing people, and we're getting back to doing more interviews. I'm actually scheduling some stuff now, but it also consists of this podcast, me sharing my experiences that I have so that we can have conversations that help us grow, not only as creatives, but also as people. Because the other thing that I left out was that I love building people, and I love helping people get from one place to the other, which is probably why I'm in production, because it starts with an idea and a concept, and we manufacture the results that we want. So with that being said, man, we are out here doing our part, changing the world, living living out our purpose, and I want to see you do the same thing, man. So we have some creative talks. We have some fun banters. I really love sitting down with the people that I know and have come across and learning their stories and their whys. So if you want, go back throughout the podcast and check out some of these amazing, incredible people who have made an impact or an imprint on my journey. So with that being said, let's get into the podcast. So we already talked about it's the last month of December, well, last month of the year, but this month is December. And because of that, a lot of us are starting to feel anxious because we're trying to wrap up everything from 2022 and start preparing for 2023. Now, if you follow the pod, you know I encourage you to always be planning ahead, always to have that swag and that insight to know that moments and greatness is not built in temporary fast things. It's about how we have longevity. The race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but he that endureth, he who can make it to the end of a thing. A lot of people start out in production and creativity with a lot of fire, a lot of zest, a lot of enthusiasm, but that enthusiasm tends to burn out over time because they do not have the endurance. Enthusiasm without endurance doesn't pay the same results as those who can be patient to see the results come back and the harvest come back, right? So we want to make sure that we're pacing ourselves. And even though we're at the end of one year, we're at the start of another. So I like to say that I don't end a year, I lay a better foundation for the next promotion that I will see in my life, okay? So with that being said, we celebrate having the opportunity to enter into another year. My brother-in-law was saying this Sunday that we should celebrate the fact that you made it to the end of this year. You know how many people did not make it to the end of 2022? So in that, you are already being successful. You are out doing some things that would have stopped you had you quit in the beginning. So with that being said, we salute and we big that up. Y'all know I like to take time and moments to celebrate things that we accomplish, and making it to this part of the year is an accomplishment. Now, let's move on. If you don't know, I am from the state of Mississippi, and there's a place, our capital is in Jackson, Mississippi. Now, Jackson, Mississippi is in the news and on ESPN and a lot of different places, on a lot of blogs, a lot of social media, because it is home to Jackson State University. And if you don't know, Jackson State University is a HBCU, which is a historically black college or university, okay? So because of that, Jackson State hired a very amazing coach, Coach Deion Sanders, or as he likes to be called, Coach Prime. So Coach Prime came in to the Jackson State culture, and he had a few things that he was doing where he was working. He was trying to get into coaching, but he could not get into coaching because he did not have a degree. Now, he was able to go to another HBCU, and I want to say Talladega or Tuskegee, don't quote me on that, but it was one of the two. And they helped him get a degree. I think it was Talladega. And because of that, he was able to come and coach at Jackson State. Now, before that, some would speculate, this is speculation, that he was not wanted by what they call PWI, which is primarily white institution, a primarily white institution or college, right? So because of that, he finds a home at Jackson State and HBCU. And because of that, he brings his son, who was also a highly ranked high school recruit. And he ended up taking the number one. I want to say Travis was the number one recruit in the nation. He plays both sides of the ball, and Travis changed his commitment from a major university to a HBCU, which was unprecedented and unheard of. So because of that, Coach Prime came in making a lot of waves and came in making a lot of noise in a good way. And people gravitated to him. He ended up having ESPN and a lot of other major outlets and attention. He ramped up. You know, if you know Coach Prime, he's never been afraid of media. But what people don't also know is that Coach Prime is married to Tracy Edmonds, who is a TV producer. She's big in LA. She was big in Hollywood. And she has a background in media. So being married to someone who could give you a strategy about how to make connections, how to post content every day that brings awareness to his message and his mission. And because of that, it made a lot of players want to come play with him. It made a lot of players pay attention to HBCUs where before there wasn't that much attention. Matter of fact, most HBCU games never really even got coverage on sports channels because they thought there was no awareness or an audience for them. Coach Prime changed that. But here's the thing. Coach Prime also pushed education. He didn't want players who was just there to perform. He wanted to change and work on the character of those young men. And I'm leading somewhere with this because I want us to think about this scenario because we all will end up at some point in Coach Prime's position. Now, one of the things Coach Prime promised was that he was going to come in. He said he was going to do everything to create a championship environment and something that would allow Jackson State to compete on the highest levels, while ensuring that he would make sure that these kids were getting the educations that they deserve and that they needed to be real contributing members of society. Now, he did all of that work. He helped update the facilities of that campus. He helped bring money in and a lot of different new sponsors and partners for the school, and people loved him for it. Matter of fact, I think they said the attendance of homecoming and a lot of the festivities were 3 times of what it normally was, not just from alumni, but from also new perspectives, people who were coming in to see what the HBCU experience was all about. So why would they be upset? Why would so many people be upset when Coach Prime fulfilled everything that he said he was doing? Why would people find harm in him taking, after he won, he took a new position with the University of Colorado? Now, if you don't know coaching, I've never seen a coach that did not, well, you don't often see coaches who do not want to coach at the highest level, which is the NFL. Now, every level has its problems. Coach Prime addressed a problem that some would say was very much needed. Black athletes have fueled and powered sports entertainment for years. And because of that, you know, HBCUs were often seen as lackluster as far as being able to produce players that could compete in the NFL. Coach Prime dispersed all of those notions. He did all the things he did. He carried himself with class. His players wore suits to the games. It was a very beautiful transformation. So why is it that when he delivered all these things, is he not allowed to make his bucket dreams, his list, his goals come true? I've heard people say, well, Lo, he convinced them boys to come to the swag. I am swag. At the time, he was swag. When I worked for a company in the past, when we took company pictures, I was that company. I worked there. I made my living there. But when I moved on, I became a part of something else. There's no indefinite end to, like, people want people to just be loyal forever, never leave, because it's good for you. But what about the things that we contribute ourselves? What about the next person who studied under Coach Prime for the time he was there? Maybe they need an opportunity to continue the work that he did because they were able to see it and know what it takes to make this product happen. We're not talking about that. We're talking about putting the weight of everything on one man. It makes me think about us as creatives. I work in marketing, and a lot of times people want you to create content that allows them to be successful at the highest levels without taking accountability for the things that they have to bring to the table. You have to bring. Coach Prime was just a small aspect of winning this championship season. Players had to show up. Players had to buy in. Facilities people had to buy in. The trainers had to buy in. Everybody had a role to play. The real conversation is put that energy into finding the next right candidate to continue building on what he laid as a foundation. But we rarely talk about being accountable for our own actions. We rarely hold others to the floor about things that allow us to be who we are called to be. One of my Achilles heels that I've always had throughout my production career was simply the fact that I tried to be everything to everybody. And that's the breeding ground for burnout. See, a resource can only serve as a resource. When you try to make a resource multilateral in things that it was not created to do, you run the risk of an accident happening or disaster. Prime is in that position. Now, Prime could go there, and there's always people who are yearning for your demise. You listening right here. You live out of a place where you want more for yourself, right? But guess what? There are people who are praying that you stumble. There are people who are praying that you fall, that you fail so that you can return to the version of you that they are comfortable with and that they know. Man, Coach Prime, he took his family. See, his son was also playing at Jackson State. He was their quarterback. And now he's removed, as he calls it, all the luggage he came with. I don't know if he's taking Travis. He may not. But guess what? Travis has to learn, too, that people are not your promise. Your talent that you were given, the things that you were trusted with, are things that you have to learn how to navigate and trust in your own journey. We often want our success, man, to be something that is easily laid out like a nice bed at a hotel, a high-end hotel, where all you got to do is walk in the room and enjoy all the amenities that beseech you, right? Coach Prime, I wish you the best. I have no ill in my heart towards anyone that wants to live out the life that they see for themselves, including you guys listening. Now, I promised you a story about my private ceremony event. So, if you don't know, I work with a platform. I'm a creative director over at Black Widow Chaser. It's a multinational media company who creates content surrounding black culture, primarily black creatives, black politics, you name it, food. We're developing a lot of things that are going to be going forward with that. And I am focusing in my own journey on things that are allowing me to do more bigger productions. I've been having some really insightful conversations with friends who also share that notion, who also share that sentiment. And because of that, I'm excited to say that we were invited to a private screening of the movie Devotion. Devotion is about the ensign, first African-American ensign pilot for the Navy. And you can check it out. I won't go a lot into it. But we were able to speak with the cast. And I want to tell you a story. It's really cool. So we were invited to this event. And this is a Sony Pictures Black Label movie. And the press manager for the event reached out and told us to pick up the credentials at the time that was slotted. And that was it. So normally, if you don't know, when you're extended press credentials, sometimes they normally tell you if there's a specific like situation for you to have access to talent and like crew or whatever, whoever is being featured, artist XYZ. Or if not, then you have access to where there'll probably be a step and repeat or a press area that we set up to do our questions and interviews. A lot of you probably have seen that layout at red carpets, like the Oscars, the Grammys. You see people walking down, and as you go, people, hey, we're here with Black with No Chaser. We wanted to talk to you briefly about the movie and how did you prepare, blah, blah, blah. So you get your questions in like that. Your cameraman is normally right there. You're getting a tight shot on the subject and the talent, right? And then you're quickly just getting your information, your sound bites, and you're on your way. You may grab a little more B-roll of the room or the red carpet, whatever it is. But then, like, that's your press. That's you doing press. Sometimes after the show, they'll bring the talent in the back, and then we're all in the press room where if you need further questions, we all have the same shot. They're normally on a stage or some junket that's there where we all set up. Audio recorders are on the tables up top. People just recording and getting content. So we got invited. We pick up the credentials and we get there early. We get there on time for the event. We see the official press tour guys out doing interviews in the VIP area. And we make our way in to the press area. So we get there, and one of the workers on the team says, hey, man, I don't see any other press really here besides the official press tour for the label. So we're like, no, because we were instructed that we were press and we were coming here. And like, yo, we on time. Let me go get so-and-so. She'll speak to you about it. So she shows up and we get there and she says, sorry, guys, press was at this location earlier, but we're done with press now. They're just going to do some photo ops with the official press tour and the photographer and then do the speaking on stage. Sorry. She walks off. No concern about the fact that we had drove an hour and change, almost an hour and a half to be there. No concern about even trying to find some way to rectify it. And this is what I want you to know about how to carry yourself in a professional manner when you are working events, high-end events. So I told my co-worker, the CEO, of Black with No Chaser, CJ. I said, I'm going to set my stuff up right here. I'm going to just go ahead and set my tripod up. I can see the backdrop back there. And I've done enough experience to know in these events, if you see a step and repeat, talent, because I used to work in live productions. So I used to do things with like Central City Productions and these majors like, and I mean like televised events where I would have to manage talent. So I would have to make sure talent was in their seats. Then I would have to pull them for, I was an associate producer. So I would pull them for media in the back. So while you seeing these major function and award shows and things like that, there's a lot of things that you don't see going on outside of the camera of the televised taping. We're navigating so everybody, all the outlets, especially the major outlets, can get their time with these people to get coverage of what they're doing, what's going on with them. So I knew that talent was going to have to come this way. And because of that, I immediately sprung into action. I made sure that I had my camera set up. I made sure I had my lighting right. I told CJ, hey, stand right here so we can get our blocking and framing correct. At first, it was starting out to be just a 1v1 interview. But then I realized on a little graphic they had going around that the whole cast and the director was there. So I had to switch mic setups. I had to do all these things because I'm looking ahead and I'm thinking ahead about when they come up, how we can get the maximum coverage of an opportunity of time if it presented itself. So the guy who had brought us to the liaison or the lead manager of press for the event said, man, I wish you the best. That's literally what he said. I wish you the best, man. Sorry. I wish I could do more. I said, you're good. I set up anyway. I tell CJ, hey, CJ, stand right here. We'll do our opening. We'll do our things. And as I'm finishing this, and as I plugged in the last little cord that I needed to be rolling, guess what? The cast is walking up behind us. I told CJ, look, here they come. And here's what I love about this opportunity. And I tell y'all the world according to Lowe, because this has happened my entire journey as a filmmaker, as a creative, as a person in this thing called life. I end up being exactly where God wants me to be and where I need to be. See, we got the interview. And if you don't know by now, allow me an opportunity to share with you. The movie stars Jonathan Majors. Jonathan is starring, he has Creed 3 coming out. He's in Marvel's movie. He was in Loki. He's also in he's in the Ant-Man movie, the upcoming Ant-Man movie. And I think he's going to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie as well. I'm not quite sure, but I know he's going to be in the Marvel Universe for a little bit. He also has the movie Devotion out. And I think another movie coming out too. I was watching something that was where his sister went to see Wakanda Forever. And she called him. She left out right before the movie began. And she told him, she said, bro. He's like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Do I need to get on a plane? Like, what's up? She says, no, I'm just so overwhelmed. I watched you in 3 trailers before the movie started. And he said he began to weep because she remembers when he was trying to get to where he is today. See, the continuity in today's podcast is that everybody's journey of success comes at your own pace and timing, man. Coach Prime in the swing of being a championship winning coach takes his next step where the board is being wiped and yesterday's successes are not today's success. See, it's easy to criticize someone for going further in their journey, in their career, but you don't realize they keep starting over to do it again and again. That's how you become great. They say if you want to impress me, don't do it once, not even twice, but do it over and over and over again to prove that you are worthy to remain at the top. To quote one of my favorite artists, Drake said, "I told you boys I see you at the top, but it's funny because I've been at the top and I ain't seen y'all there." A lot of people in the beginning talk about being successful and they hot right now. Hot right now don't mean hot tomorrow. So the cast is coming up. Jonathan makes eye contact with me immediately because I got my setup, my rig, and as an actor, they're trained to find the camera. Jonathan makes his way up the ramp, and he immediately comes over and shakes our hand. One, it tells me the character of the man he is, because he wasn't on no Hollywood stuff. He wasn't on, I'm a big-time actor. I'm a big-time Hollywood guy. I'm hot right now. It spoke to the character of who he was before the fame. And I was very impressed. You see, a lot of times we think our presence is belittled by the light of somebody else. See, just like Jonathan, I was walking in my calling too, and in my purpose. So our lights did not dwindle in the presence of each other. CJ stood in his light and interviewed the cast. He was ready to go. He was ready to do his part. We ended up having a great connection. Ended up making some networking moves that will hopefully blossom into greater situations and circumstances for us going forward. But if they don't, that moment was another sign that we're doing the work that we're called to do. See, a lot of times we look to be validated by the words and the actions of others. But you got to be like Coach Prime, man. You got to be willing to stand on your own 2 feet and make everyone around you know that I'm not just walking blindly into the night, that I am trusting something bigger who has guided me this far. Whatever it is that you want in your life, you got to go out and get it, because nobody's going to give it to you. Jonathan Majors cried with his sister because she was there. She understood what it took for him to get there. She understood the sacrifices. She understood the scars that nobody was privy to except those closest to him. I too welcome you to shine in your light, man. To go about it as we end one year and begin another. Make a tally of the things you did right this year and the mistakes that you learned from so you don't repeat them in 2023. We got a couple more podcasts before this year is over, but I want to start leading up into the new year with a new mindset, or a better mindset, to improve and grow and reflect. You can be everything that you need to be. You're already equipped with what you need. Stop comparing yourself to other people and know that what you do, if you are serious, will echo in an eternity. I thank y'all for listening. I hope this is not the last podcast that you pull up to. And Loyalty Crew, I know I'll see you in the next one. If you want to join the Loyalty Crew, our community, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Aloysius Ballard. It's been a pleasure being your host today. Sorry about my congestion. But I want you to know that, man, I love you, and I pray that all in your life is well and blessed. Until next time, man. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.